guys, and today we are finishing Forget Me Not. We got just a little bit more to go, so hopefully this will fucking finish. I accidentally hit one of the buttons, so it kind of started off the next scene. Let's get started. The next day was Saturday, and Sky asked if I wanted to hang out. Apparently a bunch of shark movies she ordered came in the mail, so she wanted to have somebody to watch them with her. I didn't really have anything to do, so I agreed to come over. Hey Sky, your dad's not home, right? I'm raiding Sky's cabinet for snacks before we head off and watch the movie. Sky's leaning against the counter and taking a sip of a can of soda. Oh yeah, he's in Portland for a work trip. I like Sky's outfit so much, it's very sophisticated. Okay, cool. Do you think he'll notice if I steal some of the liquor from your cabinet? Oh, sorry, liqueur. I hear Sky practically choke on her drink before setting it down on the counter, furrowing her eyes at me. You're joking, right, Emmett? Not really, I guess. I grumble and close the cabinet before I do anything. I'll regret and sigh. Sky looks at me a little sympathetically, and I knows why I'm in a glum mood. Just before we decided to get something to eat, I told her about the situation with Michael. It felt good to get it off my chest, but thinking about it now was ruining the mood. I just wanted to forget about it, but it's really not that easy. Sky turns to the fridge and pulls out a tub of Rocky Road ice cream. That's my fucking favorite! How about a healthier alternative? She holds it out closer to my face and I back away and lift an eyebrow. Healthier alternative? You know, it's kind of diabetes in a box. It's fucking delicious! Come on, doesn't it look tempting? You can't just say no to this delicious dairy product. Isn't this like peer pressure? Yeah, tell the principal about me. Go on, I dare you. I'm that hardcore. I let out a chuckle and give in to the ice cream. It's kind of odd eating ice cream in the winter, but then again, this is Sky we're talking about. It's not that fucking odd. When I pop a couple of scoops into a bowl, I sigh, feeling a bit empty inside. I'm not even sure why, but I'm reminded of Michael again. It's like I'm seeing his face everywhere, and I don't think that's very healthy. Sky sees me frozen up, then pats my back and gets me back into reality. Breakups are really tough. But trust me, you'll get through it, okay? Yeah, I know. It's just... Aside from being angry, I can't help but feel a little sad. I'm worried for our future too. I mean, what does that mean for our friendship? He's completely a different person now. There's so many emotions. Sometimes I kinda wish we never got into this in the first place. That's understandable. It's terrible how it all crumbled down like that, but do you really wish that it never happened? You learn from things that went wrong, even if it's not much. They'll help you out in the future. Even though there may have been some bad, you still have some good memories, right? And I doubt he's going to avoid talking to you forever, so maybe things will work out. Yeah. I force a smile and absorb Sky's advice, and think that it has some truth to it. Everything feels better right now, but it shines with truth. I take a bite of my ice cream and feel slightly at ease. I know this is kind of random, but you said that he's been smoking pot, right? Yeah. Why? Well, I can't help but think that maybe... there's more to Michael than he's trying to show. He may be going through some issues. Dreads are an escape for most people. It's a way to cope with things. Yeah? I think there's a bigger story to his reasons for breaking up with you. But I gave him his space right now. And some space for you too. Yeah? Thanks, Sky. I look up and smile at her, and she grins back. Well, no problem. Ever since that incident yesterday, I never really thought about something like that. It makes sense. But I still don't think Michael is going to tell me anything anytime soon. I guess time is the best medicine in this case. Well, enough of grim talk. Let's go back to the movie. We have like 2 more to go, right? Yep. Time to party. We both walk out of the kitchen and go back to her living room, and Sky takes a huge bite out of her ice cream. Ah, shit. Brain freeze. Ow. I think you partied too hard, Sky. Shut up and start the movie. I laugh as Sky shivers and press play on the remote controller. We stayed up until 10 o'clock watching movies until my mom called and wanted me home. Me and Sky said our goodbyes, and I walked home feeling much happier than I was before. When I get home, I checked my phone one last time and didn't get a text or a missed call from Michael. I guess it's obvious he wouldn't try to contact me. And of course, it's not like he tried to contact me before this whole mess either. When I was laying in my bed, I kept myself awake worrying about all the stuff I tried to keep out of my head. How was I going to face Michael now? We have a ton of classes together. That is, if he's even going to show up at school. What if he becomes addicted to some other kind of drug? Will he still continue seeing that other person? Our relationship is over, and yet, I can't stop worrying about him. I try to force myself asleep and hide my face under my pillows. It's officially winter break now, and the days keep passing me by. There's only 5 days left until Christmas is here, but everything feels kind of dull. Christmas was never really that much of a lively holiday for me in the past, but this year, it feels especially somber. We're not having a big Christmas dinner like we've had in the past. And of course, Dad most likely isn't going to show up. And then there's Michael. I haven't talked to him since that incident a couple of days ago. A part of me is relieved that I don't have to see him in school, since it'd be awkward. But it kills me to know I can't see him, and I don't know what he's doing, how he's doing. And that is destroying me. But he cheated on me, and I'm angry. And I love him. I let out a long breath as I sat on the floor, resting my head back against my bed. I've been sitting here for about 15 minutes, just staring blankly into the wall and thinking. There's nothing to do, and I feel so lonely. I turn my head just slightly and hear footsteps coming out the hallway and nearing my room. I try to grab a book nearby and open it, but she comes in too quickly. I look up at her and hold my book. Emmett, your dinner has been in the microwave for 40 minutes. Oh, I'm reading, so I forgot. I look back up at my mother, who's crossing her arms in the doorway, and I clear my throat. Yeah? Your book is upside down. Glancing back down at the book quickly, I panic and realize that I must have grabbed it the wrong way. I heave a sigh and relax my shoulders in defeat, then look back up for her next response. My mother just stands there for a little bit, inspecting every corner of my room with her eyes. It's probably been a while since she took a good look at my room, because she rarely comes inside of it. You haven't been yourself lately. Well, it's practically impossible to hide anything from my mother. It's been a while since I've seen such a concerned look on her face. I guess it's only natural for her to react like that. I haven't been eating that much lately, and I've just been sitting around in my room for the past couple of days. In fact, I'm kind of worried myself. I'm fine. A lie comes out of my mouth without thinking, but I can't imagine actually telling my mother the whole truth. Really? She raises her eyebrow, walks further into the room, and then sits on the side of my bed. We're both right next to each other, except I'm on the ground. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just tired. There's a silence between us for a good minute before my mom breaks it. It's about Michael, isn't it? Suddenly, my posture straightens up and I can't help but look a little shocked. My mother never ceases to amaze me. But in this case, I feel like I'm going to get a heart attack, because I don't want to come out of the closet to her at a time like this. What gives you that idea? Well, she smirks and dusts something off of her sleeve, then continues. For a while, you were always Michael this and Michael that. Remember when I asked you about inviting Michael over for Christmas? You never gave me an answer back. Naturally, you two don't seem as close as you used to be. Mother's calling us out on our bullshit. I sigh and give in to defeat, and my mother is absolutely right. Of course she's right. She's always right. She figured out the source to my problem in no time. I feel like I'm a little kid again. Whenever I used to get sad or angry, my mother would sit me down and try to find out the answers to my feelings. She'd always manage to find them almost as if she was pulling them out of my head. I guess those kinds of things never changed, and they probably never will. I guess so. We stopped talking on bad terms. And I'm kinda worried about him too, but I just don't know what to do. Sometimes bad feelings are better not left alone. You're a good friend and you care about him even when you're mad at him. Maybe he feels the same way? You should just try to talk to him. And after that, if you both need space, then just give yourselves some space. But if you're really so worried that you're in this much of a mess, then maybe there's more to the story than you aren't telling me. She raises an eyebrow and seems to be putting on some kind of faint smile. I clear my throat aggressively and shake my head. No, we just got in a fight. Well then, talk to him as soon as you can. I never did actually meet him, and I'd love to have him over for Christmas dinner. Yeah. Thanks, Mom. My mother ruffles my hair, gets up from the bed, and holds her hand out for me to grab. I take her hand, lift myself up from the floor, and stand up. Ready to finally eat some food now? I guess. Well, it wasn't much of a question. I would have forced it on you anyway. I scoff, Mom smiles, and we leave my room to go downstairs and eat. My mom seems like such a cold woman on the outside, but deep inside she's the most caring and thoughtful mother I could have ever asked for. It's times like these that she really helps me get through everything. So I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens. Maybe I'll give him a little bit of space and then try to contact him. Maybe this will all start to get better eventually. This house has been empty ever since I returned here, and to be honest, I don't think I care. I don't care much about anything nowadays. Hell, I don't really care if I eat or not. I don't care if I live or die. I'm not sure if it's a result of the drugs, the prescription pills, or maybe a little bit of both. But isn't this how I've always been? No, not quite. I used to be okay. I used to feel. I used to be normal. I think that's what it was. Right? Normal? And then I lost it. The pills helped me fake them for just a little bit. Enough to play pretend for others and myself. Maybe a little bit more for myself. The people I used to know thought it was easy. They thought the pills would simply solve my problems. Why do you still look so down? They were working, but they weren't. They made me feel even worse. I was relying on a bunch of little things I had to ingest every day for the sake of keeping me steady. And some days I would feel okay. And the rest of the days I felt like some kind of experiment. I felt terrible. It felt so terrible to know that you had what you had, to know that what you had could not simply be fixed. It wasn't as simple as some kind of miracle pill. And nobody had the right answers for me. I had no answers for myself. So I gave up. And using drugs weren't the best idea, I know. But what's the worth anymore? Really, what am I good for, anyway? From the day my mother died, nobody thought I was worth much of anything to at least take care of. I was a bastard child of a druggie, and I'm sure it didn't take them long to forget about me. I was a faggot who tried to kiss my best friend in middle school. And I was the guy who told my boyfriend I cheated on him, and he was the only person who really cared about me. And it was all for some drugs that weren't worth what I had to give up for them. Emmett. All the time I spent with Emmett, for the first time, I felt real. It dawned on me, for the first time, that this isn't what it's like to really have a friend. I felt alive. I didn't linger too much on the negative side of life, and I was able to break out of my shell around him. When he asked me out, I was scared to death. I liked him, but I was horrified. There's no going back. Our friendship would never be the same, and Emmett didn't really understand that. To be honest, I'm not really sure how the dating thing really interferes with our relationship though. I remember him saying, and he was so naive. For a moment I thought I could do this. We can make this work. But I was wrong. Just then, everything came into play at the worst time. I fucked up. I trusted you. You were my friend. Ever since I took medication regularly, I felt like life had always quickly passed me by. I would get emotional, but not for too long. I forgot how to feel and how to respond to people. I was faring well with depression, but it was like I had lost some part of myself in an equal exchange. And strangely, after I told Emmett I cheated on him, I couldn't help but feel like time, after so long, caught up with me. When Emmett walked away and shut the door, I cried. For once in 5 years, I cried. I love you, Michael. I really do, but I just can't trust you anymore. As much as I want to sink away and disappear, I want to tell Emmett that I'm sorry. He never has to trust me ever again. But I want him to know that he was the only person who made me feel like a human being. He was the person who helped me discover myself all over again. I was truly happy. He means so much to me. I want to thank him. But I don't know if I can really hold out that long. I'm drowning in all of my mistakes. I'm suffocating in my own mess of myself. I don't want to own up to anything. I don't want to explain anything. I don't want to think. I watched my whole world crumble as I tore it down. For far too long. Message from Michael. December 22nd, 8:14 p.m. I'm sorry. No, we're not doing this. I've got to get to Michael's house. I don't know what that text means, but the first thought that comes to my mind is something terrible. I've got to get there as fast as I can. That's all I'm thinking, and that's all I know. By the time I reach his house, I'm panicked and staring up at the moon. I start to doubt myself and finally realize how stupid it was of me to run all the way here. What will I say to my mother when I get back home? And I've suddenly lost the confidence to even take a step farther towards his house. I take one last look at the roof and sigh. I start to turn around, but I notice something out of the corner of my eye. I can see a figure being illuminated by the moonlight behind the roof. My eyes open widely, and I move a little closer to peer at what I'm seeing. That can't be a person up there. I stand there, frozen on the sidewalk, concentrating on the shadowy image of the rooftop. As I look closer, I can see that they are standing up now, and the face of the figure is exactly how I anticipated. Without thinking, I come out farther to the front of the house, where he can see me. My chest is pounding, and the blood is rushing through my head so quickly that my hearing is low. Somehow, though, I can see that Michael notices me and seems to whisper my name out. Emmett? I walk even closer towards his house, and as I look up at him, I can feel a surge of fury flowing through me. What are you doing here? He wasn't about to do this. No, he wasn't going to do this, right? Emmett? Yeah, it says Emmett. I take a deep breath and the muscles in my face twitch. You're an asshole, Michael. I know we're over, but you're still my friend. Did you really think you can tell me goodbye like that? Did you really think I'd be okay with that? Is that how you say goodbye to somebody? I'm coming up there, so don't even move a muscle. If you jump, I'll kill you with my own two hands. A rapid panting breath escapes my mouth as I quickly run into his yard and to the side of the house. There's a ladder in sight, and I immediately make my way up, carefully trying not to slip, reach the roof. By the time I'm up on the roof, I'm out of breath and there are some tears in the corner of my eyes. I quickly wipe them off my sleeve and stare at Michael sternly. If you want to die, you're going to have to do it in front of me. Michael stares at me, but I can't tell what he looks like in this lighting. After a little bit, I can see his figure starting to sit down where he was standing. The harsh look on my face begins to disappear, and I let out a relieved sigh. I feel like I'm going to cry again. If I had gotten here any later... I try not to think about it, and cautiously take steps next to Michael, then sit down. For a while, we don't talk to each other, we just look at the stars together. This is something me and Michael share. Looking at the stars. Those sparkling little dots of light shining up there against the velvet sky. These night skies are something most people took for granted. But for me and Michael, it was something we cherished. I don't know if I was jumping to conclusions about the suicide thing, but he didn't try to defend himself. I want to ask him questions so badly, but I just can't. I didn't want to bring up anything about this whole issue. And maybe I just wanted to forget it even happened. Kinda like old times, huh? I guess. Yeah. A small smile appears on my face for just a moment and I sigh. It's almost like how we met each other. I've actually never thought about that memory until now. It's funny how not so long ago I couldn't stop thinking about it. That was when I met Michael again at the beginning of the school year. My hand is asleep. I got tears in my eyes. I'll probably cry when all this is over. And now we've really become close. I looked to Michael, sitting with his knees tightly together with his face down at the ground. So, do you really want an explanation? Huh? I remember the last time we talked to each other. You wanted me to at least give an explanation. I try to remember the memories of the day Michael told me he cheated on me. A tinged feeling in my chest awakens. This is why I wanted. Yes, out of everything. I just wanted an explanation from him. Obviously, there was so much more going on than he was telling me, and he wasn't telling much at all. Yeah. I gulp and nod a little at him. I just want to know. I just want him to tell me. I really want to know. I want you to tell me. But I can't help but feel nervous. What is he going to tell me? I take a deep breath and listen to him attentively. If I had never come here today, I may have never been able to listen to him at all. Wow. Michael lets out a sigh and brushes his hair back. He continues to look forward and his voice is very mellow but clear. I wouldn't be lying if I said that using drugs weren't what started this whole thing. But then again, I've always been on drugs. It's just that they were prescribed and legal. When I was 13, I was diagnosed with depression. I kept going through so many different pills. Sometimes they would work, sometimes they wouldn't. I would get some bad side effects occasionally, but hey, at least the government was paying for all of it. And for so many years, I don't know, I just got tired. So for some time, I just stopped taking them. Michael pauses and shivers for a moment, but continues. It was maybe about 2 months ago when I was at practice. Because I wasn't taking my pills, I was kind of having an episode. It affected my performance in the game. I wasn't doing so great mentality-wise. After the game, when everyone left, the coach scolded me. Strangely, he wasn't being as brutal as he usually was. He said he understood how I felt. It was scary how well he described me at the time. So naturally I was drawn in. He said he knew what would make me feel better, so I stayed and listened. He took out a bag of drugs and gave it to me for free. He showed me how to roll it, light it, smoke it, everything. I got a little high, but for the most part I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but it felt good. It felt different. I didn't feel like a pill junkie, you know? Anyway, it's time to leave, but I didn't feel like taking the bus home. I mean, we were all the way in another city. So he offered me a ride home. I was tired, and I felt like shit, so I took it. Oh, please don't tell me. Michael seems to hunch over a little bit, and his hand scratches his head almost like he has a headache. I have a feeling I know where this is going. So do I. He didn't drive me home. He stopped in an abandoned parking lot somewhere. I don't even know where. It was so dark. So one thing led to another. I don't even know how it started. I can't really remember it all that well. I don't even want to. Michael looks away from me and pauses. He laughs to himself, but it sounds like he's crying. I don't say anything and give him some time to pull himself together, and he starts talking again. We didn't go all the way, but still. I didn't even put up a fight. I wasn't really that high, but I didn't even... Oh, Jesus. I liked it. That guy was probably 30 years old, and he told me he'd give me some more joints for free after what we did. He shivers a little bit, but he's not hunched over anymore. Something of a self-pitying laugh escapes from him. I sucked my coach's dick for some weed. Aren't I just a piece of shit? I have no idea what to say to him after I learned all of this. When Michael said I'm cheating on you, this is really not what I imagined. My encounters with him only happened 3 times. He tried to intimidate me at first. He started blackmailing me about the drugs. He threatened to tell a school social worker, and they'd get me transferred again for sure. He knew about you too. My eyes grow big for a moment at what he says, but I can't open my mouth and say anything. I think back and remember the day when we were at the diner by the beach. That guy was the coach. And that was about 2 months ago. I hold my hand to my stomach after feeling like it's twisted. I kinda want to throw up, but it's not so serious. All this time, there really was something odd about him, and yet I didn't know it. There really wasn't a way I could have known, that's true, but still. I couldn't do anything for Michael. All this time, Michael was going through this all by himself, and I had no idea. We're gonna continue this, okay? If anyone, I'm the one that feels like shit. He invaded my privacy sometimes. He usually has a tactic to get me to stay longer. He knew I was absolutely terrified of having to be relocated. I would be with another family again. And so it happened 2 more times. The third was a couple of weeks ago, I think. That's when he stopped coming to school. Michael nods and sighs. He's holding his elbows to his sides, and it reminds me of the time I noticed all the scratches on him. He would bother me when I was in other classes sometimes. I could have just tried to ignore him, but altogether, I just didn't want to be at school anymore. When I quit the team, that was the last time I saw him. Those scratches must be from the coach, no doubt. That's just terrible. And Michael didn't say anything. No. He couldn't say anything. The coach put him in that kind of situation. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cry. Michael sinks back down again, gently hugging his knees and looking down. I've always wanted to tell you. I'm sorry. You don't deserve me. I think that's what frightened me the most about you. You were so accepting of me. And then I made you reach your limit. And you're still here. You're still trying to hold on to me. Michael. I want to tell Michael it's okay. He doesn't have to apologize like this. He doesn't have to think like this. But I can't say anything. Words just won't come out. I tried to touch him gently on the shoulder, but he quickly lashes and slaps my hand away. Don't try to sympathize with me like you don't understand what I've done wrong. I'm a fucking terrible person and you know it. I'm disgusting, just say it. In a way, I understand his mindset completely now. I think I know the real Michael. Everything in his life has been piling on top of him and making him hate himself. The incident with the coach was just the last straw. He's been shamed and hated for who knows how long. And maybe somewhere along the line he started believing it. Or maybe he always believed it. Maybe he was good at hiding it. You're crazy. That's not true. I clutch his hand tightly and stare intensely into his eyes. You're not terrible, and you're not disgusting. Do you really understand what that man did to you? Michael, he sexually harassed you. I didn't fight him back or anything. It wasn't... If you didn't like what he was doing to you and you weren't 100% consensual, it was harassment. Admit it, Michael. It was... rape. Michael's eyes open widely and stare me in the face for a long time. I feel like the glass wall he's been hiding behind is starting to shatter now. He starts to shiver slightly, then lowers his head and brings his hands to his face. Softly, he starts crying. A faint, strained sob echoes from the depths of his heart. I pull him close, embrace him as tightly as I can, and don't say a word. How? I don't know how. You're okay with me. Why? It's because I love you, Michael. What kind of person would it be if I wasn't okay with you? I'm sorry, Listen, I know you're punishing yourself for all these mistakes that you made, but you have to understand, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Though, you got to be able to realize what's a mistake and what's not. What happened with the coach is not your fault. Michael buries his face in my chest, clutching onto me when he hears me say that. I don't know how, but somehow I was able to pull him out from this dark hole. For now, I saved Michael. Of course, I don't feel happy about it at all. I'm relieved I was able to save him from doing something that might have ended his life, but I'm not a hero or anything. It's not like it's the ending of a story when everything will be okay and the battle is over. That's not how this feels. The only thing that's reassuring is that now we're on the same page. Now when Michael has his problems, I'll be there to try to understand them. He has somebody to talk about them. I'm thankful that we're able to get to this point. Tears start rolling down my cheeks, but I wipe them away with my sleeve. I look out into Michael's neighborhood and wonder if someone overheard us. That'd be a little bit embarrassing, but I can't think of any other place we could have had a conversation like this. The rooftop was where we met each other long ago, after all. After a little while, Michael pulls away from me and wipes his tears. We're both sitting in the same position we were not so long ago. I glance over at him and wonder how he's doing now. This whole thing must have left him in an unsettled mood. I notice that he's gently placing a hand on his stomach, almost like he's rubbing it. I start to panic, wondering if he's going to throw up or something. I'm really fucking hungry. I might eat the whole fridge, the shelves, the ice in the freezer, everything. I'm just really hungry. I let out a laugh for once in a long while that feels like forever. Slapping Michael gently on the back, I turn to him and smile. Well, you better go back inside then, huh? Sounds like a plan. He smiles back at me and really smiles. Not so long ago, I would have done anything just to see that smile of his, and now I've finally seen it again. And somehow, I feel like there's something new here. I feel like there's something new between us that has just awakened. Before I get up and make my way down the roof, I look back out at the night sky. What's out there beyond that horizon? Where do we go from here? Well, I'm not completely sure. What I do know is, we're both not alone anymore. We have each other to look out for. We won't be forgetting each other anytime soon. And now my computer is gonna lag so bad. My recording's gonna be so bad now. God damn it. I didn't think I was gonna cry. That sure was something, to be honest. I was not expecting any of that. The rate that came as a huge shock to me, to be honest. It was... I don't know how to explain it. But it definitely hit home so close, because I wish I could just openly say it. But, yeah, it just really hit close to home. Thank you, Bonnie / Savita, for this. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much for it. I still want to cry so bad. We got ending 2. I don't think I'm gonna go for ending 1. I kind of want to leave it the way it is. It made me happy with what I chose. If you enjoyed it, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have been playing it. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded the games for a very long time. I should have said this in the other episode. I just wasn't in a point where I wanted to record anything, any long videos. But yeah, this was fucking beautiful. I don't have any words. It was emotional, that's for sure. I got really happy when I saw them kiss, and then it made me so angry when Michael said he cheated on Emmett the first time. It reminded me of my first relationship. And everything kind of spiraled downwards, and that hit really close to home. And it felt surreal to have an experience like that. But I hope you enjoyed this. I'm glad we finished the game. I'm trying to find the words. Just remember, have fun, be safe, enjoy yourself. Bye for now. Bye for now.